the story. Sorry. Okay. So legend tells the story of the beautiful Princess Anne. She was taking a walk through the forest when a set of trees decided to play a prank on her by causing an earthquake. And this earthquake basically just caused all the trees to fall and all the rocks to roll. But the princess remained calm and dignified. She gracefully avoided each obstacle and she never let a tree or a rock touch her feet. And she avoided each obstacle until a prince came to save her from the ordeals of the forest. And this is the story that's told through a famous dance of the Philippines known as Singkil. This is a Singkil sword. It was one of the props that was used in 2009 during my performance with CSUN's Filipino American Association, and I performed at the Filipino American Exposition with them in 2009. So I'm going to talk about what this sword represents not only in the dance, but also in the Filipino dance culture as a whole. And I'm going to talk about what this, why I'm part of this culture. Okay, so this sword is basically a representation of the different stories told through dance and movement within the Filipino culture. And in the dance, it's used by the prince and it's held by the dancer while he is trying to save the princess and he's going through each obstacle gracefully. So it represents not only bravery but agility in the prince. And in the dance, it's the costume that tells us that he's a prince, but it's the sword that tells us that he's there to save the princess. And I think that's a big part of the story. What this represents in the Filipino dance community and culture is that each prop and each costume and each facial expression of the dancer helps to tell a story. And it's important to be able to tell a story through movement because when you're dancing, you can't talk to the audience and you can't tell them what's going on. So each prop and everything is there to help tell the story. And once the audience understands the story, the dance is just given more meaning. Okay, so I talked to you guys about what it represents in the dance and in the Filipino dance culture as a whole. So now I'm going to talk about why I'm part of this culture. So in 2008, when I first entered high school, I was as uncultured as it gets. Like, I knew nothing about my Filipino culture. All I knew was that I was Filipino. So, yeah. I joined the Filipino club because all my friends are Filipino and they sort of pressured me into joining the club with them. And I ended up loving every single minute of it. And in 2009, during the summer, I was invited by CSUN to perform with their Filipino club at the Filipino American Exposition. And I went to all the practices and I met a group of people who were part of this Filipino cultural dance culture. Yeah. And then I really admired them because they loved what they did and they loved learning about the dances. And by the end of my performance, I was just as proud as they were. And I gained a sense of cultural understanding that I never thought that I'd be able to get. So what this sword means to me is, although it's a prop that's used by men to portray a prince in the dance, I was a part of this dance, and that's why it's special to me. And it's like a constant reminder that I've come so far in terms of cultural understanding, and it's a reminder of my first experiences as a cultural dancer. So overall, we've learned that this prop has the ability to enhance the dance, and it has the ability to take the dance to the next level, and it has the ability to tell us one of the many stories of the Filipino culture. So hopefully you guys learned that what this sword means, not only in Singkil, but also in the Filipino dance culture as a whole, and hopefully you guys learned why I'm part of this culture. And so if you ever see yourself watching a cultural dance or any dance in general, you should look out for each of like the small details such as the costumes or the props or the facial expressions because each dancer is there to tell a story, and if you understand the story, you might just get so much more out of the dance because it's one thing to tell a story through words, and it's a completely other thing to tell a story through movement and dancing. Thank you.